the reality is that most entrepreneurs don't actually make it. So I want to share some stats with you. The success rate of entrepreneurs, broadly speaking, show that about 20% of new businesses fail within the first 2 years of being open. 45% fail during the first 5 years, and 65% fail during the first 10 years. And here's the thing, 15 years or more, about only 25% of new businesses make it. So 75% of the businesses that we start won't be there in 15 years or more. So the reality is that the successful entrepreneurs are few and far between. So I feel like we need to focus on entrepreneurship, not in terms of the outcome we're trying to get to, but instead we need to put a spotlight on the actual process of what it's like being along the journey before you reach the point of success or failure. You're sort of in the gray zone. You don't know if you're going to make it or not. It's that part of the journey that we need to focus on. And that's where I think the dark side of entrepreneurship really lives. And for you, if you're thinking of becoming an entrepreneur and you think it's a good path to take, I'm someone who's super happy with the path, but it's really important to be realistic to get yourself ready for these challenges. So I'm going to share a little bit about that dark side in this video today. But first I want to show you, I just woke up before and I've done a great swim just down here. These videos are, I'm going to show a little bit more of my life. I've just done a video in Singapore with my video producer Jack, so check out that video. He made an appearance in it, and together we're going to start trying to do a bit more with these videos, share a little bit more of what's going on. I'm on my way to go see my brother Lachlan. He's one of my business partners on this entrepreneurial journey. We created Brown Brothers Media about, I think 4 years ago now, and it's kind of like a holding company for multiple media web assets. It includes Hack Spirit, which is the one that he's been really involved with for a long time, and there's about 15 others. And yeah, we've built them up as media websites, hiring writers, journalists, and there's been a lot of growth lately. We've got a team of, I think, 40 to 50 people now, and it's totally distributed all around the world, so we work online. Lachlan's married here in Vietnam, so he's often here. And because we hired a few people here, I'm regularly coming here to meet with him. The other businesses I work on are IdeaPod, that's been around for over 10 years now, and that started as a social network for ideas. It's had a lot of ups and downs, and about like 6 years ago really transformed it from a technology company, raising capital and everything, to just focus on having a sustainable business model in place. So it's become a digital media platform, and we're soon launching an incubator for ideas as part of that. So that's still alive, still going, and going pretty strong and experiencing some growth the last 12 months. So that's really exciting. And then the other one is The Vessel, which I created alongside the shaman Hudet Yande. You'll probably hear me talk a lot about him in these videos. So he's a business partner of mine, but also a collaborator in creating the online courses that sit on The Vessel, his flagship course, Out of the Box. I absolutely love. Incredible life transformation online course. It's totally changed my own life and my own approach to everything. In fact, what I'm going to share in this video when I talk about the resilience needed for entrepreneurship and focusing on the process, not the outcome, a lot of these ideas, these principles come from Out of the Box. That's helped me to learn a certain way of living life that's helped me so much. But I'll share more about that soon. Once I find my brother, go and sit down with him, have a morning coffee, and get our work started. My Gojek driver is about to drive down this road and come pick me up. I love getting the scooters here in Saigon. It's a chaotic city, and I just feel like when you're on the back of a scooter and you just dive into the traffic. Hello. Come in. What are you doing now? What What do you like about living in Vietnam?
No, I think the people are very friendly as well. What do I like about being an entrepreneur? Making money.
Okay.
Yep. Making good money at the moment, and I want to make more.
Being an entrepreneur, like, is for a certain kind of person, or it's something like anyone can do, or what?
It depends on how you're going to make money. Like, if you can do something that makes money, you can be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's about personality or anything. It's just about whether you have a good idea that will make money and it will actually work.
Yep. So we're on our way for the next coffee to Bosdoris and Lachlan.
Yep.
I know that you love the money that comes from being an entrepreneur,
I certainly do.
but obviously there's been a lot of ups and downs for us along the way, and times when the money wasn't that great.
Yeah, we were staying in hotels without windows.
That's right. That was a really tough period. But we're probably as happy as we've ever been in those early days.
Yep.
But yeah, what do you think about entrepreneurship? Like, is it for everyone, or do you have any more thoughts apart from just the money?
No, I mean, I think that it depends on whether you have a decent idea that can actually make money. Like, that's all. I don't think entrepreneurship matters about your personality. I think it's all about what you're willing to do.
Yep.
And whether your actions will, lead to something successful. That's what you got to figure out for yourself.
Yeah, all about like behaviors and actions.
Yeah. Also, one thing I'll say is, I reckon people try to follow other people too much. Like, they try and get mentors and stuff, but I don't know. I reckon a lot of people that have been successful might have been a bit lucky with how they got there.
Yep.
And
like us,
like just getting we're just in the right place at the right time, which was good for us, but it might not be the same for other people. So you really got to figure it out yourself. Don't rely on other people and look up to other people. Actually, just do it yourself.
Yep.
And figure it out.
Love it. Great advice.
You can learn from other people, but
Yeah, definitely reading about it, understanding your industry. Actually, I reckon that's really important, is that it's not that easy just to come in and start a new business or try to like replicate what other people have done, because it takes a lot of study, a lot of knowledge. You got to really understand how things work. That takes a lot of time to get there.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you can really learn from other people. Just don't look up to other people as if they're better than you. I think a lot of people do that these days when they look at Facebook and everything. They see the videos of famous people telling them how to make money and everything. I don't know. I just hate that culture.
I hate the culture too. But what's wrong with following other people in that way?
I think because you got to have confidence in yourself and kind of figure it out for yourself. Like, I don't think it's that healthy to look up to other people as if they're better than you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I reckon that's, for me, what is part of this like dark side of entrepreneurship, like the myth of the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's this day and age we live in where there's bloody YouTubers walking the streets trying to share their ideas. I want to share something a bit more realistic about this path of entrepreneurship, my own personal experience, because there are definitely a lot of negative things, and it's important that people are aware of this. Sorry for the background noise. It's kind of the culture in Saigon, outdoor coffee shops near the street. My brother working away there. So the first one is the loneliness that comes from this path. I felt very alone at many stages of the journey. So I was doing a PhD a long time ago in England and had set up this website on the side, and ended up quitting the PhD, moving to New York City, raising capital, getting idea book going. And it was a very exciting time of my life, but very lonely, because at the time all my friends that were doing a PhD didn't really understand what was going on. Why would you ever, give up this thing that you'd worked so hard to get to at that point? And it just felt really lonely. And then early on as well, having this, unique vision for the world of what you want to create, but it doesn't exist yet. So you're having to constantly explain the vision, talk to people, get people on your side. But fundamentally, because it doesn't exist yet, you feel very alone in carrying that vision. And then along the way, there's a lot of conflict. So I had a business partner early on
in one of my businesses, and he was a very good friend from high school, and unfortunately, we went separate directions, and we had something pretty special together for a long time, a shared creation, and it didn't work out, and there's a lost friendship there, there's an element of sadness to that. Also employees, so especially early on, when things are very up and down, you hire people and you get very close because you're building something together and people trust you, and sometimes things don't work out and you need to fire people to let them go. Sometimes that's because of poor performance and you just have to make that decision. It's very tough. But other times it's due to the business reality that the business just can't justify that direction that you're trying to go down, and you need to let people know that that it's just unfortunately not something that we can do anymore. And there's a lot of conflict that comes from that. You've got to be very resilient. You've got to have the tough conversations on a regular basis, especially in the early days. And that's also related to another challenge, which is the financial insecurity that comes from this path. I mean, when you're creating something that doesn't yet exist, you need to find a way to get the resources together or to operate in a very lean way. And very early on, for most people, there's not much money left over for yourself to maintain the lifestyle that you want to live, especially if you're coming from having a good job and you've got a vision for something you want to create and you need to take a leap. There'll very often be a drop in income, and that's really challenging to go through, and there's a lot of insecurity that comes with it. You don't know where your next paycheck's coming from. Very hard for many people to go through. I've certainly not found that side of it easy for a long time. I got kind of lucky in that being on a PhD scholarship, it wasn't a huge salary. I was a management consultant for 3 years before that, earning quite good money, living in London. But I went from that to the PhD, so I already had a drop. Then I went to New York, raising capital, which was really insecure time, very up and down. And then it was insecure for many, many years, 7, 8 years of just sometimes the money pretty good, things going well, other times not so good. So very up and down. And I learned to be quite resilient with those ups and downs. And I think that I took on a lot of these lessons that I feel quite secure now, that even though things for sure are going okay, if we go through a big turn or the market changes or something, I don't have that huge inner fear. Like, I feel like I can handle things like this. But I think for a lot of people, the financial insecurity is going to be a really huge challenge. And also a challenge, I think, is being fundamentally responsible for everything. So I kind of admire people that are employees that have a secure job where they can trust that that paycheck comes in every single month, no problem at all. And I think there's a real kind of sense of peace that can come from that, and it's not to be underestimated. There's a lot of value in that sort of security and dependability, and you can really build your life around that. Ultimately though, I mean, for me, realistically, it comes down to the fact that we're all fundamentally insecure, in that even when you are working for a big corporation, they do go through layoffs at different periods of time, and those circumstances are outside your control. So I guess that's how I've comforted myself with this sort of insecurity, that I'm more aware of it because I'm managing the profit and loss. So I do know all about the ups and downs, and even our team members would feel very secure in what's going on, which is just a wonderful feeling to have. But ultimately, we're all in fundamentally a similar situation anyway, and there are just these ups and downs of business. So when you're on that entrepreneurial journey, you are fundamentally aware of everything that's going on. You're totally responsible for the profit and loss, and having that level of responsibility, it's a big weight on your shoulders. So that's just something to be really realistic about. So there's some of the dark side about the entrepreneurial path, but I want to share something a bit more balanced with you, and also share what I think is the positive side of being on this path. So if you are thinking about it and you feel like you can handle some of these challenges, there are huge rewards at a personal level to come from being an entrepreneur. I'm going to share those with you, as well as my own unique understanding of freedom that I've arrived at. Very unique from being on this journey. First, I'm off to do that gym workout with my personal trainer, Nile. Heading home soon to get that done. I want to get her perspective on entrepreneurship from the Vietnamese perspective. This is a very unique country. It's a beautiful country. I feel like when I look around me, I mean, you see entrepreneurs everywhere. There's real resilience in this society that definitely comes from their history. Even beyond the Vietnam War, well before that, they're sandwiched between China, the South China Sea, other countries to the west. There's a lot of conflict in the history, and it's really bred a lot of resilience. So I think Nile is going to share something pretty interesting. Yeah, so Nile, these are super easy workout sessions. Like, no, I'm kidding.
Super easy.
I'm kidding.
Super easy.
Super tough. Super tough. It's just me and Nee in the gym room. Yes. Nee's super fit.
Thank you, guys. In exhale, open your chest.
So Nee, you're an entrepreneur
Yeah.
in that you run your own business as a gym instructor here in Saigon. Anyone that's in Saigon should totally work with you, by the way. I'll leave a link.
so.
I'll leave a link to your Instagram in the description. But tell me, what do you like being your own boss? What's the lifestyle like for you?
So, I feel like I control myself, I control my life. I don't work for anyone, I have freedom, I have time, no stress. But sometimes, if I work alone, nobody push me, so I roll slow. But if I work with someone, they push, they train, so I have more experience.
Yeah.
So I'm open to try new boss now,
Okay. New boss? New opportunities?
opportunities, like
Okay.
work with someone.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's true. I was saying before in the video that for me it's a little bit lonely being an entrepreneur sometimes,
very.
especially early on, because you're trying to figure everything out. Everything is new.
Yes.
But being your own boss for sure is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but flexible. Flexible.
Yeah, that's cool. I finished the workout with Nee. I've just had a huge lunch. I feel absolutely shattered right now. And I just realized exactly what I want to share with you about entrepreneurship. It is that it's all about the process and it can't be about the outcome. And I feel like in society, we're sold the dream that the entrepreneurship life is the path to riches, to success, to recognition, to having an impact. And it can be all of those things, but those things need to be a byproduct of the process itself, of committing to the path. Committing to the path where no matter what happens, you look after yourself along the way, that you have a very fulfilling experience, that you build good and effective relationships even through the hard times, and that even if your business is one of those many that are going to inevitably fall, and the majority will do that, that you've learnt a lot along the way, that you've looked after yourself, that hopefully you put some money aside at a personal level, and that the process itself is very nourishing. I've got a big problem with how so many people are selling the dream of entrepreneurship. I am being targeted on Facebook right now by a pretty popular new age self-development platform that's trying to sell this course around manifestation. And it is all about first getting your energy right so that you can then become a successful entrepreneur. And I've got a real problem with that because it's all about selling this dream of instant success. It ignores all of the hard work along the way, all of the resilience that is required. It makes you feel like you just have to purchase that course and then do the meditations, raise your vibration, get an abundance mindset, and then bang, it's all just going to start happening for you. For me, in my experience at least, it goes completely the other way around. It's not about changing your energy. There's nothing wrong with being scared of the process, with having a bit of fear, with feeling a little bit down at times. We can have the whole range of different energies around us. What matters is our behaviors, our actions that we take. That's what Lachlan was saying before when we were walking the streets. I think he's spot on. It's all about engaging in the right actions day by day. And then in time, if we commit to this path, and it is a wonderful path to be on, there are so many good things that come from this path of being an entrepreneur. And most important for me is being in control of your own destiny. That's what Nia was saying as well. And it's hugely fulfilling, but you've got to be in control of your destiny even when the challenges are there. It can't be about trying to get through the hard times so you finally get to this beautiful oasis type experience at the end. So for me, that's really the key point that I want to make. It's a really challenging journey to be on. There are so many terrible things that will happen along the way, but it's completely worth it if you've got the right focus from day one, if you're doing it for the right reasons, if it's not about the riches, but much more about the path itself.
I've made it to the end of the day here in Saigon. I'm enjoying my favourite whiskey, and I've just got one more thing to say about entrepreneurship, and that is that the key thing is this. It is all about being able to enjoy the journey, even when there's ups and downs, being able to find the meaning in the challenges, not needing things to be perfect at any moment along the way. If you can enjoy the journey, not be too worried about the outcome, at least for me, that's been really key. That's what I just said in a recent video that I recorded from my home in Singapore about the trap of happiness that we can face, where it's all about not being happy with the outcome, but just being happy in the journey.